Good to see everybody. Been a while. First of all, just with the weather and the storms that have come through this region here, just want everybody to know that our thoughts are with everybody here that's been affected by the storms, and will continue to be that way. Great time for our program. A lot of things going on. Ready to go finish off this recruiting class. It's been a couple good weeks out on the road, staff and myself, and excited about finishing it off here, this weekend and through the early part of next week. Great opportunity to get some practice in. I've had a couple since we finished the season. Great opportunity to go play in a great bowl game here in Music City Bowl. Close for a bunch of our fans. Expect and excited to see them pack that place out and have a great environment there on the 30th. And through those bowl practices as we get going here next week. Excited to get some development time with our young guys inside of our roster as well as we prepare for that football game. So a lot of things going on. Excited about them and open it up for some questions here.
When you can have that bowl game and you can have recruits in on official visits and they can kind of see you all practice and see how you all work, just how nice is that, just where they can kind of get a feel?
Yeah, huge for us. When we started this recruiting process, COVID, we were talking about the things that were going to be inside of the building, how we were going to play. This fall they've gotten to see a chance to see that. Now, the guys that are here at the end of this recruiting cycle get an opportunity to come and see us practice. They get to see the energy inside of our building firsthand. They get to see their position coach talk and communicate and teach through position drills, through team. I think it's an awesome time for them to get the real feel inside of our building every single day, and I think it'll be a huge part of how we finish this recruiting cycle.
Kelly in the back.
Hey, Coach, what was the team's reaction when they found out they were playing in the Music City Bowl in Nashville, with it essentially probably being like a home game for you guys with how well fans consider they travel?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's excited about what the game day environment will be with our fan base. Just leading up to it, even before the announcement, when the announcement happened, I was on the road and our staff was on the road recruiting. But for our guys here inside of this program, they're extremely excited about it. We're looking forward to, and in some ways hoping that was the destination that we were going to be in. For guys that are around this region, easy trip for their families to come up and share in the experience, not just on game day, but the entire week. For our kids that are further away too, their families will be able to come in. Great city and a huge part of our base, just inside of this state, our recruiting base. And you guys know that for myself and our staff, we've tried to place a huge importance on doing in-state recruiting the right way. With us taking over with some COVID limitations as well, I think it'll be a great opportunity for myself and staff just to get familiar with some VFLs that are in the area, be able to meet with some donors, and be a great week.
Two things, Josh. What's your opinion on the early signing period? I understand the rule is what it is, and you gotta work with it. But there's been some discussion on whether it's led to more coaching changes during the season. Is it the right thing to do? What's your opinion on the early signing period?
Yeah, it is what it is at this point. I'm excited about it being where it is right now for us inside of this program, and be able to finish off the recruiting cycle this way. As early as recruiting gets started, I'm talking about sophomores and juniors, I think it's good to put a quicker end to the process than being in February.
And what are some things you've learned on Purdue?
I'm going to be honest, haven't started down that track too far here. There's been enough other things going on in the first couple of weeks here out in the recruiting cycle.
Coach, with Alontae Taylor going to the draft and not playing in the bowl game, what are your thoughts on his decision, and who are some guys that you as a staff are looking forward to step up there at that cornerback spot?
Well, I think for Alontae, I had an opportunity to sit down with him on the back end of it. He's very thoughtful. Took information, understood, potentially where he was slotted, and made a good decision for him. And at the end of the day, you guys have heard me say this, the back half of the year, you guys started asking those questions. You want to be able to give good, concrete information to kids and have them make a really sound decision for themselves. And I feel like Alontae did that. We're going to help and support him in every way as he goes through the draft process. Excited about his future. It's a kid that has been a great leader from the time that he stepped on campus for us, for me, been a great resource and just helping build the foundation of Tennessee football. A guy that battled through injury, the last 3 weeks of the season, and really those are things that not very many people knew, and it's an opportunity for him to get back and get healthy here before he ends up in that draft process.
Who are some guys that's an opportunity for with him?
All the guys that you guys have seen throughout the course of the season, have an opportunity to step up, and we'll go through bowl practice, and the guy that practices the best will get, an opportunity to start at that position, but imagine that we'll see multiple people play.
Hey, Josh, what are the challenges for playing a season, going not 100 miles an hour, stopping, and then coming back and getting going again for your players, just getting out there and putting the pads on again?
Yeah, reset, get some guys healthy, get them feeling as good as they possibly can as you get into the meat and potatoes of your bowl preparation. In doing that, there's a strength component to it in the weight room. You get a little bit of work on the weekends here, the last couple of recruiting weekends. A lot of that's fundamental, and then just a little bit of good-on-good work where they still simulate and see some of the speed and tempo that you're going to when you get back to your bowl game. I think the biggest thing is bowl preparation not getting stale, getting some good-on-good work so they have an understanding of the tempo, they're accustomed to it, and then your players being as fresh as they possibly can mentally and physically when you get to the bowl site and to the bowl game.
Dorothy, in the back.
That's my question.
Oh, okay. Other questions, Vince?
Josh, have there been any other guys that have notified you that they plan to skip the bowl game at all?
No, haven't been. I feel like there's some guys that are still going through the process of making a decision what's right for them and their future. Continue to help them through that process. Guys have been awesome. Whoever ends up showing up will be ready to go play, but anticipate, having a pretty full roster.
Coach, you touched on youth development with these bowl practices. Are they more like spring practices and how they're structured, or are they more like kind of preseason in the way you do it?
Preseason and spring ball are similar in some ways. At the end of the day, there's a big bulk of individual work at the beginning. You get some crossover work, wide receivers, DBs, running backs, linebackers, O-line, D-line, and then you finish with some team preparation as well. Some fundamentals on special teams, not a lot of scheme at this point. That'll kind of be consistent to the early part of next week.
You have to approach guys individually and say, guys maybe haven't played a lot of redshirt this year, and say, hey, this is a chance for you to really get better, and you have to kind of motivate them to maximize these opportunities.
Yeah, I don't think you have to motivate them. I think because you're able to rep more guys, like you would in a spring ball or a training camp. They naturally see the opportunity that they have to go out there and compete, and instead of being on a practice squad, scout team, whatever you want to call it, they're getting mainstream reps with your units, offense and defense. And guys have been great here through the early part.
Coach, switching gears a little bit on a more somber note, through the midst of all the recruiting and everything going on, just explain real quick how important it was for you to take just a little time off to go down to Otis Anderson's funeral and to be able to give that eulogy.
Yeah, I just didn't know I was going to speak, and really until almost I got to the church, and to me it was just important to celebrate a young man's life, and you love all your guys, and it's a sudden and tragic loss of life. Families obviously going through the emotions that come with that, and there's a lot of stages to that, and just wanted to show support and to the family, but to his fellow teammates and brothers, and so having an opportunity to see some of those guys and share in the grieving process was important for me and my wife, and just it was a tough day.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
The